Over 100 years ago, the foundations for one of Yorkshire's finest gardens were laid out by Percy and Catherine Stewart. Keen travellers, they incorporated many exotic plantings into their garden to replicate those found on their trips abroad, including many water lilies, which now form part of a national plant collection. Burnby Hall is also home to one of the UK's largest and last remaining backhouse rock gardens. Join head gardener Jill Ward as she takes me on an extensive tour of these beautiful gardens.
The gardens originally belonged to Major Percy and Catherine Stewart. They owned the house in around about 1901 and they spent 4 years renovating it. Once they'd renovated the house, they turned their attention to the gardens. The gardens are based around two lakes, the upper lake, which is about 1¼ acres, and the lower lake, which is 1/3 of an acre. So that makes it an elongated site, and running off the two lakes are several gardens, all based on different themes. So we have a secret garden, a rock garden, a walled garden, a stumpery and a birch walk, which is our winter themed garden. So during their travels, Catherine and Percy would have seen some hardy water lilies, and it was Catherine's idea to plant up the lakes with hardy water lilies, which was done for them in 1935. Sadly, Catherine died in 1939, so she only saw them for 4 years, but that essentially was the start of the national collection. Our upper lake was built in 1904. Originally, it wasn't as big as you see today. It's actually been extended twice since the first building. We have about 50 different varieties of water lily in the upper lake, and one of my favourites is James Bryden, and there's one called Lemon Mist, which is very nice as well, and actually also one called Almost Black. This time of year, the end of June, the rock garden is still looking good. It's a really good spring garden, but there's lots of colour there all year round. So this is our Backhouse rock garden. It was built in 1910 for Percy and Catherine. The Backhouses were a nursery from York, who at the time had about 40 acres, and they were a huge nursery, really well known, and in fact known as the Kew of the North. And they were the go-to nursery to have a rock garden built by. Back in 2014, the gardens were actually celebrating their 50th anniversary, and at the time this rock garden was completely overgrown. The whole of this was covered in conifers and things like Mahonia and Cotoneaster. And in 2014 we applied for a grant from the National Lottery, which was granted to us in 2016, and that's when work began to clear the site. So it was completely cleared back to soil and rock, and then it was left fallow for 2 years because there was some perennial weeds we wanted to get rid of. So it actually wasn't planted up until the autumn of 2018. Running through the rock garden we have our stream, and this again was completely covered before it was renovated, and it's been replanted with things such as this Primula florindiae, which I really love. So this is a really interesting bank, a couple of my favourite flowers on here as well. This is Campanula Samantha, a really nice compact, only gets to about 1 foot high and doesn't spread like a lot of the campanulas do. And this is Penstemon campanulatus, which is another of my favourites. Obviously a penstemon, but just a little bit unusual. The walled garden, that's just coming into full bloom, having had our tulip festival in there. The alliums are just going over, but all the perennials are coming into full flower. This is our walled garden. This was redeveloped in 2021, so this is its 3rd summer, and we sort of based it on a lot of perennials that are really tall, so that you feel like you're surrounded by plants and you're walking through them. One of the tallest that we have is this Cephalaria gigantea. As you can see, it's really just coming into its own at the moment, and it's really popular with our visitors. Another one looking really good at the moment is this Salvia caradonna, which lasts a really long time. One of the key plants that I've put into this garden is this rose, and it's called Tottering by Gently. It's a lovely primrose yellow that seems to just match any colour that I put with it, and it's a lovely open flower, which is really useful for the pollinators as well. So we've put 40 all the way through just to tie the garden together. Okay, this is another key plant in the garden. This is Daphne Eternal Fragrance, which attracts a lot of attention from our visitors. It flowers for months and months, and it has a really lovely smell. And then planted underneath it is the Erigeron, or the Mexican fleabane, which again just picks up the white of the bark and also that lovely pale pink to it. I think seeing things develop over the years, we have a programme of development. Every winter we seem to be developing different areas, and it's that continual change and opportunity to develop things further. This area is what we call the Stumpery. This was developed in 2011. In between those stumps we plant things like ferns and foxgloves and kind of a shade-loving plants really that you would see in the woodland. And it's maintained semi-wild because we're actually in a wooded area, as you can probably hear from the birdsong. So you can see that we've got quite a lot of green at this time of year. We've lost all the bluebells and the snowdrops, but I really like just the green from the ferns. And then the stumps themselves have got a real beauty, and it's just a nice, calm, soft place to be, really. Well, I hope they have a really enjoyable, relaxing day, but I think more so now they can maybe go away with an idea of what they can do with their garden. Maybe just take a small part of what we've got and apply it at home.
If you fancy visiting Burnby Hall Gardens, head over to the link in the description for more information. Please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to see more like it. Thanks for watching!